Hello watch lovers around the world, I hope you're all doing well. On today's episode, I'll be covering my long-term ownership review of one of my favourite watches, the JLC Reverso. So I've owned this watch since 2021, so I thought it would be the perfect time to make this video. I'll not go through the origin story of this watch, as I'm sure you're all familiar with it and it's been done to death. The model I own is a JLC Reverso medium drawer face. It has 30 meters of water resistance. Its movement is a manual wind with 42 hours of power reserve. Case measurements is width is 25.5, lug to lug is 42.2, thickness is 9.2, and lug width is 19 millimeters. The Reverso first caught my eye in the 2005 Batman Begins movie. It was worn by Christian Bale when he was portraying Bruce Wayne. Such a classy and unique looking timepiece. So I'm the type of person who, when they say a cool watch in a movie, I would immediately Google it to find out what it is. Yeah, I definitely need to work on my dinner time conversation topics. Fast forward 16 years later and now I'm finally a Reverso owner. I went with the medium size as it's closer to the original sizing and I feel it wears better on my smaller wrist size. Overall, to sum up my 3-year ownership experience, it has been extremely positive. The unique case shape and beautiful design is a definite standout. In a sea of stereotypical and generic watches, the Reverso is a breath of fresh air. For me personally, this was my gateway watch. I had owned a Submariner prior to this, but it wasn't until I acquired the Reverso that I truly started to appreciate watchmaking and craftsmanship. I mean, who can resist the sensual lines, dial finishing, and ingenious rotating case design? The attention to detail that has gone into this watch is impressive. Small things like the dial symmetry and the finishing on the inside of the cradle is spectacular. When I wear it, it feels like I'm wearing a work of art on the wrist. In my personal opinion, it has so much more character than the usual suspects out there. So after 3 years of ownership experience, let's go through the 4 pros and cons I have experienced since owning this amazing watch. Pro number 1, beautiful design and construction. I know I touched on this earlier, but I feel it needs another mention. In terms of design, nothing really compares. With the rotating case, drawer face owners have 2 watches in one. JLC cleverly hid the second time zone jumping hour function on the inside of the case, keeping the case clean and sleek. The guilloche finishing on the dial is really impressive. I'm a sucker for blue steeled hands and they don't come much better than this. The 3-line gadroons on the top and the bottom of the case give the watch a touch of Art Deco elegance. The inside of the cradle is finished with a circular graining, which resembles the finishing on the caliber. Pro number 2, attracts true watch lovers. This watch attracts true watch lovers and enthusiasts. You would rarely have the conversation of, did you pay retail for it? Or how much profit can you sell it for? On the odd occasion, I have had strangers come up to me and notice my watch and compliment it, and we would end up having insightful conversations about watches. Also, at the boutiques and ADs, when the salespeople see the watch on my wrist, I feel their impression of me is different and they are more likely to engage in conversation with me. Pro number 3, easily obtainable at retail and great prices on the secondary market. The Reverso is readily available at the boutique, with minimal waiting periods for the popular color variations. That's right folks, if the Reverso is your cup of tea, you can get instant gratification without having to suck up or spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or bribe your salesperson to get a hold of one. Unlike some other brands, I would have more luck getting blood out of a stone than getting a stainless steel sports watch from them. Anyway, that is a topic for another day. I have seen Reversos on the secondary market in great nick for up to 50% off retail. So good prices can be had if you are patient and look carefully. Pro number 4, one of the most versatile watches. It may shock you to hear, but the Reverso is one of the most versatile watches that I owned. Over time, the Reverso has been categorized purely as a dress watch, but I firmly believe it can be worn on all occasions. It is quite robust. After all, it was originally designed and marketed as a sports watch for polo players. The Reverso has the elegant white face and a more casual black face that actually has lume. JLC has a large collection of straps for this watch which can change its appearance significantly. Con number 1, crown is off center. This could be seen as nitpicking, but for all you OCD people out there, including myself, if you look closely, you'll notice that the crown is ever so slightly off center. Initially, this kind of triggered me, but as with everything, when you love someone, you are willing to overlook their imperfections. We are still talking about watches here, right? Con number 2, full polished case. I think to most people, this might be considered a con. Having a watch with a fully polished case, although beautiful, it means the watch is more prone to visible scratches and dents. However, for me, I'm okay with it. I recently took this watch overseas for a month-long holiday, mostly involving sightseeing, babysitting, and visiting family and friends. I think it held up quite well. Con number 3, manual wind. Manual wind watches may be seen as a con to some people. This Reverso has a 44-hour power reserve, meaning you'll have to wind the watch every second or third day. This doesn't bother me though, it gives me the opportunity to admire the watch while I wind it. For those people who are time poor that can't spare 1 minute in the morning to wind your watch, perhaps you need to set your alarm 1 minute earlier, quit the doom scrolling on social media, or get yourself a pair of laceless shoes. Ah, there you go, fully wound in less than 30 seconds. Con number 4, recent price hikes. When I got this watch back in 2021, JLC was a more humble and less known brand. I was able to score an amazing deal from the boutique for this piece. I can tell you I got it for around half the retail price it goes for now, and they also threw in a lot of freebies. But JLC has aggressively increased their prices within the last few years. I guess someone has to pay for all those free coffees at the Reverso pop-up marquees. But as I mentioned earlier, great prices can be found on the secondary market. In summary, this watch is definitely a keeper. The only way I can see myself parting with it is if I found another Reverso that I liked more. I encourage people who are looking for a watch out of the ordinary to look into the Reverso line. It has tons of history and heritage combined with a great design. Thanks for watching until the end. As always, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. Until next time, happy watch collecting.